Have a leave of absence from Alderman Sexton, but we have a quorum, so don't need to co-opt anyone. Can I have somebody move the confirmation of minutes, please? Councillor Harvey, thank you. Number 3, consideration of supplementary items. There are none, so we'll move on to number 4, indications of pecuniary and conflicts of interest. Are there any? No, being none, we'll move to 5, transfer of agenda items. Would anyone like to transfer an agenda item? No, great. We'll move on to number 6, 6.1, Salamanca Market Bylaw number 1 of 2022. And before we have any discussion on it, I'll just have the Director give us an overview of the item. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. To give an overview of this one, we have been out to advertising and public consultation in regards to the Salamanca Bylaw redrafting for this year, 2022. We had a single submission of which the team have developed a strategy and a mitigation for ongoing concerns that were raised in that single submission. ELT have agreed to that approach, and we now ask the committee to endorse that approach as we move forward so that we can get this bylaw agreed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I have somebody move the item, please? Councillor Dutta, thank you. Are there any comments? Yes, Councillor Harvey.
Just through you, Chair, I'm just scrolling and haven't got there yet. Could you tell me what the one submission was in regard to?
Thank you. Through you, Chair. The one submission was in regards to security and safety, particularly from high levels of perhaps terrorist or attack regarding vehicles. So vehicles actually entering the market, and our requirements to really consider how we look at preventing vehicles from being able to enter that pedestrian space. What we have done is we will be establishing a working group that looks at motor vehicle security and prevention or access prevention, that will also look at other areas around the city that may need some focus in regards to bollards, and having a standardised approach to prevent incidents or accidents occurring.
Okay, through you, Chair. Yeah, look, I'm happy with that answer, and I'm aware that the council has done a lot of work in this space and has implemented a number of strategies, so I'm very comfortable. And has someone moved it? Yeah. I'm happy to support the recommendation.
Thank you. Any further discussion? No? Great. So we'll vote on it. Is there any dissent? No? Consider that unanimously carried. Thank you. 6.2, Speaker's Corner, the 6-month trial. Director, again, we'll just ask you to give an overview, please. Thank you.
Certainly. So this report has been put together by Louisa, the officer that's present tonight, in regards to the Speaker's Corner expanded program that we did earlier this year. It's observations and recommendations for further progression of the Speaker's Corner. So if there are questions, Louisa's present to help support that. Thank you.
Any questions, any comments?
Just a question.
Oh, sorry, actually, perhaps first we'll have somebody move it. Would you like to move it, Councillor Dutta? Yep, moved by Councillor Dutta. Yes, and your comment?
Okay. Just a question with regards to this Speaker's Corner. I read in the paper there was some criticism made by a few people with regards to this. Has that been taken into consideration, or are you aware of those criticisms by people or ratepayers?
Certainly, through you, Chair, there is most certainly awareness. I might ask Louisa if she'd like to talk to that particular point.
Through you, Chair, there was just one, as far as I'm aware, there was some criticism from one member of the public that requested an RTI on the cost of implementing the Speaker's Corner trial. We provided the details of the cost for that. The then director at the time made a response to that individual who was requesting that information and had made that complaint about the costs. I don't think it was a complaint about the purpose of having a speaker's corner or making that platform available in Hobart, but more about our cost to implement the trial.
And do you perchance know what the report said just with regards to the cost?
I believe that the cost, we provided the information, we had to have a DA and signage installed, etc. It was around about $5,000 to implement the trial program, so that was the cost to the council to implement it. Yeah.
So will that be? It's not an ongoing cost then. So it's just that initial implementation cost was $5,000.
Yeah, I think that the person had acknowledged that we'd already spent that. So to do the trial, and that's not an ongoing cost. No.
So there's actually, through you, Chair, there's actually no further costs for this facility to continue, this opportunity to continue. In the financial implications, funding source, impact current year, nil, not applicable. Impact on future years, financial result, not applicable. Asset related implications, nil, identified at this time. So there's no ongoing costs. It's now been set up and it will just be used as required by members of the public when they choose to fill in the application form and exercise their free speech rights on the site.
Yeah. Through you, Chair, that might have been an oversight on my part, is that we just need to update, reskin the signage to remove the trial information from the signage and replace that. And I just imagine that might be a small cost to reskin that signage down there.
Yep, okay.
Just one more question, sorry. So the other criticism, I read was with regards to the process, that it is too cumbersome. Is that accurate, or has that been rectified?
Well, through you, Chair, it requires an applicant to apply for a permit, as with Busking Corner or the busking program or any of those other programs. So that's a fairly streamlined process to go online and apply for the permit. It does require speakers to book, so to book with our customer service or landing pad officers, that it does require them to book in their half-an-hour slot so that it's fair for everyone to be able to access the speaker's corner.
I'm just through you, Chair.
Yes.
Sorry, Mandela.
Just to
Councillor
follow up from that, so there is no cost involved with people wanting to book to speak?
No, that's a free permit.
Oh.
Busking and Speaker's Corner are free permits to the public, and anyone is open to apply for a permit.
Thank you so much.
Councillor
Good to know.
Thanks. Yeah, I just had a question about whether there'd been any complaints about the content of anything that anyone had been speaking about.
Not to my knowledge. We didn't receive much uptake of the program, of the Speaker's Corner, and we did run it over winter, so there wasn't much uptake of the program. And then we actively programmed it through the Out in the Open program, and there weren't any complaints. There were compliments about the quality and the variety of speakers that we programmed, and we did that to show that it could work as a platform in Hobart to be able to have a variety of different speakers and speech, rather than the more political speech, which is also very welcome, but it showed that poetry and free thinking and other types of speech, the platform could be used for that as well. Yeah.
That's really fantastic. Just a follow up from those, that's great through you, Chair. Are there any guidelines around what people can and can't speak about, or do we have anything around, that it has to at least comply with anti-discrimination legislation, for example?
Through you, Chair. Yes, it needs to apply for it. It needs to comply with any applicable legislation around discrimination. And freedom of speech.
Just, because all of the conservative Christians who used this in the past.
Any further comments?
No,
Questions?
the form's fairly straightforward, as are the guidelines. It's not, doesn't look too onerous. I guess you just have to change it if we agree tonight to continue, that it'll be changed a bit to take the trial wording out of it.
Chair, just and working with the CEO on just finalising those terms and conditions we had proposed in the report, that we extend the hours down at Salamanca Plaza. They're currently 10 to 12. What we found with actively programming Speaker's Corner, that it was most people are down there at Salamanca at lunchtime. It's probably the most desirable time to program speakers down there. You know, come and have your lunch. We've got the beautiful seating down there and umbrellas, so to come and have your lunch and listen to a speaker. And we're just proposing that we might be able to program it again over summer and have that as a really great activation for the public.
Yep.
Any further comments? Okay, so I'll put that. Is there any dissent? No. Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. And we'll move on to...
Does that go to full council?
Yes, please. 6.3, request for financial delegation. Director, did you want to speak on that as well?
Yes. So hopefully my sound is okay. I've just switched over to a headset. Thank you, through you, Chair. The request for financial delegation for our annual grants round, there has been a precedent set in the lead-in to the council election in 2018 to delegate the financial delegation for that process to the CEO so that we're able to ensure that that process occurs throughout the election period. This report our memorandum is to request the repetition of that process so that we can make sure that we issue those reports, those grants to our community during a period of change.
Great, thank you very much. Any questions? Councillor Harvey?
I'm just reading it. In light of upcoming local government elections and in the interest of good governance at this time, it's recommended that pursuant to Section 22 of the Local Government Act, Council delegate authority to the CEO to approve the recommendations of 2 assessment panels for the annual grants. Okay, so it's just for those. There's the statement that just for those 2 assessment panels. That's it. Yep. Okay. So I was thinking there might need to be a date.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. But that covers it. Those 2 assessment panels.
That's correct, through you, Chair, and they also have very specific assessment criteria and structured boundaries and processes that have been well established and well utilised over the last 4 years.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Can I have somebody move that, please? Councillor Dutta, yes, thank you. Any dissent? No. Being none, consider that carried unanimously. Let's move on to number 7, Committee Action Status Report, 7.1, Committee Action Status Report. Can I have move? Thank you, Councillor Harvey. Are there any questions, comments? I did actually have one question just with regards to the taste of summer in-kind support there in the and it says that the CEO would consider selling items identified as unused or no longer required. I was just wondering, was there any sort of indication as to what was going to happen with that?
Yeah, through you, Chair. Our team is currently preparing a really thorough inventory of everything that's up at our quarry space and our basement spaces here at the city, of all of that events equipment. So we're going through that inventory process, following the policy for disposal of assets at the city, and then making a proposal to our director and CEO on that, and then we would report to council on their decisions about the disposal or the assets that we're keeping.
Yeah, great, wonderful. Thank you. Any further questions? Any further comments? No. Any dissent on that status report? No. Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Questions without notice? Are there any? No. Oh yes. Sorry, Councillor Dutta. Yes.
Yeah. I just have a question with regards to, and I wasn't very sure if this is the right place to ask, but if it is not, then we can take it to the close. Do we have any allocation towards homelessness in this budget of ours? And if we do, how much?
Through you, Chair, perhaps Director Allen may be able to have a conversation around the community programs that have been allocated.
That's a question I'm happy to take on notice.
All right,
I can't answer it at the moment because we're still establishing the detail of the budget.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any further questions without notice? No. We'll move on to 9, closed portion of the meeting. Can I have somebody?
So moved.
Thank you very much. Councillor Harvey,